Salve, anyways, you can see this is basically the cover of the Ghost Reaper Girl Volume 2. Obviously it's a Japanese edition, but you can see she's got a really cool picture, and this is her in the Noel form. And it's going to be a little bit more why I have this when I get to the end, the bonus chapter that they gave us this time, because basically she kind of technically sleeps with Noel, so we'll get to that. But anyways, chapter 22 is pretty interesting. It's called I'm Sorry, which if you really string all the names of the chapters together, I think it actually tells its own stories. But what's important about this is you can see that Shoggoth, she can use her, instead of blades, she's making into blunt weapons. So she's fighting Dagon, the sea god, with this. And you can see they're looking on, they're seeing everything, they're pretty impressed by it. So that's actually pretty cool. So basically she made her items blunt. So even though Dagon's got a lot of armor, it's effective, or at least it seemed effective. But see, the problem is right now, Love can't transform because she's too weak. If Kai tries to combine with her or anyone else, it just passes through. Noel's so weak that he's stuck in the cat form. And you can see Dagon was basically had an ace up his sleeve, or a trump card if you want. And you can see that basically whatever they were doing, it isn't working. You know, Panzer's a little bit more useful. And then we have Scarface, who's like the main spy. And Scarface is basically telling Love to beat Pete, because she's not going to be that useful in this battle. But Love is worried about all the people and everything else, so it's kind of giving her courage and strength. So that's basically chapter 22. We see that Shoggoth can use basically blunt objects, and we're going to see Love develop into a little bit more of a character. Chapter 23 is the day to become a hero. And as we can see right here, Love basically had the Kai transform into the Scythe, even though she can't join with him. So she tried using the Scythe on it, and it didn't work on Dagon's armor. But here, Noel mentioned how it was able to bite the armor before. And you can see it bites like a little piece of the armor, and then Love uses Kai in the Scythe form to basically pry it open. So since Noel was a soul predator, he basically has that skill. So Panzer wasn't doing that bad these chapters, even though he's mostly a useless character. But, you know, he was at least trying to fight Dagon with the others of them. So basically, Love can use Noel in the cat form to do that, and then she uses Kai in the Scythe form to basically pry it. So it makes the weapon, you know, makes it weak. So she's in her human form, but even though she's in her human form, she's able to use the skill of her servants, her submissives, her familiars herself. And then we can see right here, she uses the through the blood to basically finish off Dagon. Through the blood, you can even see it. And basically, since Noel bit the piece and then she pried it open, she was able to slice it. And you can see Dagon basically doesn't have much left. She basically, like, for lack of better words, she decapitates him. So these chapters are pretty good, because now we're seeing Love, even in her human form, has use. And basically this is all working the plan of Noel Ulthar, who's talking to, Reanimator West. And basically she says, or Noel Ulthar, or Mistress Noel, or whatever you want to call her, is that basically through the conflict, through the suffering, through the torment, that a hero would be born, like it was inevitable. So Love is basically the hero, and she's really taking that next step. So these two chapters were pretty good, and then we got a bonus chapter, which is basically the continuation from chapter 23. And here you can basically see, you know, they have like these cute little things. So basically, this is later on in the chapter, it's chemistry, with Dr. West basically throwing back his leg, and then he took some pictures. So basically this chapter starts out with Noel's basically in bed with Love in the cat form, but then when they wake up the next morning, he's in the human form. So now, obviously, that's going to make Kai jealous and Shoggoth, who basically want to slice him up. Literally want to slice him up. So this is a good chapter. You know, it leads into the other stuff. And, you can see this is... Now this makes the cover of Volume 2 a little bit more interesting, because here you see them together, they look like a cute little couple, and they would be a cute couple. No offense to Noel, yeah, they definitely are a cute couple. I can see them as a couple. That's her in her cat form. So basically the fact that they were in bed together, you know what I mean, it's more thing. And then the other bonus chapter, I think it was bonus chapter 2, they kind of hinted her and Shoggoth sleeping together. So it's kind of cute. Or, Shoggoth is going to take off her clothes, but you can see it's some really good art. That's really cool the way they have her look. She's got the blue hair and everything. So yeah, these are two pretty good chapters. Clolove is able to use skills in a human form now. She's really evolving as a person, and I suspect there's some sort of thing with the crowd. Like if there's a crowd, that she can defend them. She was really worried about the crowd, and I gave her like more inner strength. So I'm thinking if there's a crowd around her, like fame, something like that, the crowd rooting for her, pulling for her, like she can kind of draw strength from that. Kind of like Goku with the Spirit Bomb. In this chapter, she's a lot like Asta from Black Clover in a way. Like, you know how Asta can be powered up, but even when he's not powered up, Asta can still do stuff. So she basically had Kai turn into the Scythe. She was able to use the Scythe power. She was able to use it through the blood. She was able to use the, even if she wanted to, she could use Hound Chain. So now in her human form, even if she's too weak to transform and be possessed, she can use skills. So maybe eventually Clolove will develop her own skills that only she can use. And the important thing is about these chapters that we see Noel Ulthar, the cat familiar or cat servant or submissive, whatever you want to call him. Now he's realizes that he has the ability from his soul predator days where he could actually bite through the soul armor. Because you noticed earlier before when he bit Dagon that he was able to actually go right through the armor. They weren't able to cut the armor, but he could bite through it. And then when he was a little weaker, he was able to bite enough, and then that claw pried open. And we could also see Shoggoth. Not only can she be blades, but she can make her into blunt objects. So if you're armored, she can basically pound on you. So it's a lot of growth of characters, and you know the series is doing really good. And if you're not reading Ghost Reaper Girl, you should. And like I said, these were two pretty good chapters. The bonus chapters are right too. And this is what Volume 2 cover looks like. And none of these are released in the America yet. But you can see how it looks like in the Japanese kind of how they have the Ghost Reaper Girl symbol and stuff. But it's really amazing art. And like I said, if you're not reading Ghost Reaper Girl, you should. And yeah, I mean the only bummer is that there's the bonus chapter, but it was a pretty good bonus chapter. You get a lot of things. You get the aftermath of the battle. You turn out that Reanimator West was able to grow his leg back in like 40 seconds. So however he did that, or whatever he did. So losing a limb isn't a big deal to Reanimator West. Is he even alive like a normal human? We're not really sure. But it should be noted that Shoggoth used the healing to help Clolove live. If Shoggoth didn't heal her after the battle, she might have died. So Shoggoth's very important. All the characters are important. All the support characters, the main characters, the female-driven manga, where you have the main female characters, Clolove, Shoggoth, and Nyarlathotep, Mistress Nyala, Mistress Nyarlathotep. You have their servants like Chaco. You have Noel. You have Kai. You know, Kai has some sort of history with Oscar Cthulhu. So it's a pretty good series, and we're only 23 chapters in. So hopefully the next chapter is pretty good. So like I said, thanks very much, and take care. And read Ghost Reaper Girl if you're not. Take care.